guys, what is going on? Welcome to episode 25 of the Under 23 Sorare Road to Glory. If you're new around here and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And if you do enjoy this video, please do also give it a like. Now, if you are completely new to this Road to Glory series, let me fill you in on a couple of details. I started this series at the start of the season with £100. I built out my gallery as we'll go into, and at the end of this European season I will be giving away every single card that is in this under 23 limited Sorare gallery. So to be in with a chance of winning one of those cards at the end of the season, make sure you're always active in the comments, lads, liking the videos and sharing the content as much as possible. And so without further ado, let's get into the video. So as always, we're going to kick things off with the recap of last weekend's game week 449. We'll start off on the negative side of things, in that our Cap 270 limited team, as you can see right now, did not bring home the bacon. 261.9 points for us, lads. One decisive, and that was Brennan, and he came off the bench. The reason I played Brennan in this lineup is because I didn't think he would start. He didn't start, but of course he came on and made a difference and managed to get the winning goal against Brighton for Tottenham, which was good for him, but not ideal for us. We didn't really capitalize on that goal. And then Suso with a 2 AA off the bench, not ideal. Darland, they beat Ghent away from home, to be fair, which is a massive result for Cercle Bruges, but no AA really from him. Clerk with 10 AA and Campelat with 11 AA. Nothing too much to shout about there. If we move over to Cap 240, lads, you will see that we managed to hit the threshold on the last ever weekend game week where you don't have to pick a target for the threshold, lads. We did it by 25 points as well, so 305.15 points. Zidane clean sheet. Andrade on his debut got us an assist as our captain, which was absolutely massive. No decisives from Klein Hansel, Pasalic or Carlos Martin, but we did enough in defense and goalkeeper to get us over that line and managed to hit our 4th threshold since we started playing Cap 240 in game week 423. So that means our total rewards sort of yielded from the threshold so far is £16, and our current balance for the Road to Glory right now is just under £20, which is fun. That's like 20% of the amount that we actually started with. And obviously we have all our players in the gallery, of course. Now some of their values might be a bit skewed, and I don't know what their values are right now as far as if I was to sell them all in one. I'm sure I'd be down, but regardless, we've got a decent balance right now. We've got a lot of players to choose from, and I'm in a position where I don't really think I need to buy anyone right now. I'm just sort of riding things until the wheels fall off a little bit. So 240 was a success, lads. But what also was a success, lads, was Under 23 Limited. We finally won a reward from Under 23 Limited, lads. It was a tier 5, but I don't care. We won a reward, and it's hard to win rewards in Under 23 Limited right now. I scored 363 points. I was 6.33 points in the rewards, as you can see. And I'm just over the moon that we got something in. We managed to win a reward, like card reward, and the threshold. I can't remember the last time, if ever we've done that, to be honest. It's either one or the other. But this week, seen as though it was the last weekend of the threshold as we know it, it still exists for the next sort of 6 months until August. But you have to pick your threshold, and yeah, it gets a bit confusing, and we'll get into all that as well. I was live on my channel Tuesday night to open the rewards, and this is what I got. For the Road to Glory, this will be given away to one of you guys at the end of the season. No doubt about it. Who do we get? America, okay. Midfielder. Houston. Brooklyn Reigns. So, over the moon with the card win. And in some ways, it is a perfect timing situation in that the MLS is under 2 weeks away from starting. So, hopefully we have this Brooklyn Reigns who is raring to go for this upcoming season. Now, he didn't really play much last season, so I'm not really counting on him. But he could be a decent depth piece. 23 out of 15, which is quite tasty. I know Hector Herrera's out for the start of the season, so potentially Reigns could get some minutes early on in that season until Herrera's back, who knows. And so going over to Play Sharper and having a look at what the starter predictions and the expected scores are for our players this weekend. We've got Andrade riding high at the top, 90% starter prediction, a really good score for me last weekend as my captain, and they're away to Hartberg this weekend. So that seems like a decent enough fixture according to the expected scores. We've got Ivan Hill, who scored incredibly well, actually. Some really nice AA from him. And he plays at Villarreal 2 at home, which I'm quite looking forward to as a fixture. Madsen's at 80%. Thank God he's back with us. Clerk's at 95%. Alamontes is listed as questionable, but I don't think that's been updated, to be honest. Mateus Ruiz at 30%. Klein Hansel, unfortunately, is suspended. We've got Brennan at 70. It looks like he might get the nod over Kulu for the foreseeable, which is fun. Campos at 95%. We've got Carlos Martin at 90 as well. Richie Delay is still injured. The less we speak about that, the better, lads. Monchu's at 80. Larsson's at 90 at home to Barca. I fancy him for a few decisives there. Pasalic at 70. We've got Suso at 60. Zidane at 95. Badji, I don't know what's going on with him. We do have Yuito Suzuki back at our disposal this weekend. Bromby play at home to Midgetland, and I'm really hoping he gets the nod there because his L15 is very low as well. Darlin's at 90, which is fun. Koulibaly doesn't have predictions yet. Kampelat at 90. We've got Cham at 95. Duhara, I don't think is going to play. El Karauni at 90% as well, which is pretty fun. So we've got a tough matchup for El Karauni away to Twente, who look to have their mojo back, to be fair. And so we are in a situation now, lads, where, the threshold is behind us in the sense of, we don't win $5 for winning the threshold anymore at Limited, which I know for a fact would have annoyed a lot of the community. And, rightly so, in the way it's kind of happened, some people agree with it, some people don't. I think the majority of people probably don't, in the sense of, there just wasn't much notice given. For them to, sort of tell us that, the threshold is going to be going as we know it, but like a week notice did feel like, a little bit harsh. But we do have the threshold still. It's still alive in some way. But now we are required, lads, to pick our own targets. Now, a lot of people are a little bit butthurt by this, and I don't blame them, if that makes sense. Like, I do think, did they really need to give us, the targets in that sense? Like, could have they just said, you know what, if you do score over X amount of points, so, on the screen now you can see there's 3 targets now. You have to select your target. So, if I only think that this team is capable of just scraping 270 points, and it does, I'll hit $2. If I think this team can reach, above 340 points, and it does, we win $8. And if we think this team can reach above 390 points, and it does, which is very, very unlikely, can I just add, and even if it does, you should probably play that team elsewhere most of the time, you win $25, which is, it's a great amount of, cash to win, but it's just so unlikely to happen is the issue with that. And, it'd be interesting to see what camp you're in, lads. I think the majority of us are probably going to play for the 270 points. It's always going to depend on the team. Like, if you think your players have good fixtures and you think they can, punch a bit above their weight and their L15 for that game week, then, maybe go for that 340. I definitely think there's merit in picking between the 340 and the 270 points threshold, depending on fixtures. Now, but if you didn't notice, the last threshold used to be, if you hit above 280 points, then you get $5. The lowest target now is 270. So the threshold itself at the lower level has gotten, marginally easier. We do get rewarded way less for that. So, a 10 points deduction in the target has equated to a $3 drop in sort of, what you can win as far as the cash is concerned. But I do get it. The threshold in itself was pretty unsustainable for Sorare. The incentive to buy really good cards on this platform before this update was not really there, if I'm being honest. So I understand the changes. I'm not, anti sort of Sorare in any way. I understand what they've done, and it is what it is. We just have to play the game that's in front of us now. So this weekend I think we're going to go for the 340 points because I have already built my lineups, lads, and they look something like this. Under 23 limited, we've got Brennan, Madsen, Ivan Heel, Montez, and Campos, all with AA fixtures, can I just add, which is huge for us. 70 lineup strength score. But in 240 limited, we've gone for Kampelat, Andrade, Pasalic, Martin, and Monchu. Now, if we go in, there is a nice little update in that Sorare data are giving us the odds in which its AI system calculates our probabilities of hitting the 3 different, thresholds. So you've got the 270, the lower threshold, the 340, and the 390. Now, I've got a 1% chance of hitting the 390, lads. And, some of you might be DGens out there and you might want to go for that 390. But in my, situation, in the series' situation, I just don't think it makes too much sense to do that. I don't think, realistically, the fixtures line up nice enough to where we could really hit for that 390. 340 is definitely a consideration. At 9% probability, a 1 in 10 shot, basically, is still very unlikely we hit it. I kind of just want to risk it for the first game week, We've got a 50% chance of hitting the 270, which I think, is a 1 in 2. There's a very good chance that we do hit that $2. But lads, I really want the $8. I can't lie. I really want to aim for the stars. Even though 390 is the highest target, I just don't think it makes sense to play it there. I just don't think it ever is going to make much sense to do that 390. Unless you have an L15 of 0 player in here that really supplements the other 4 players and they're very strong cards, then I think, that could make sense. But for this situation for us, I think the 340 makes the most sense. And then we've got a 270 lineup in the form of Lucas Zidane, Clerk, Yuito Suzuki. He isn't expected to play according to the Sorare data community, but I'm going to risk him because I don't really have many alternatives. We've got Larson at home to Barca, and then we've got Darland at home to Club Bruges in that Bruges derby. So we are still prioritizing 240 for now. Put my best, 4 cards as far as L15s go in there first. I then built the under 23 limited lineup, which of course we won a reward from last week. But to be honest, I'm not overly confident in that under 23 limited team. To be fair, I wasn't confident last week and we still won a reward. So, confidence doesn't necessarily equate to, winning lineups. But you know what? We are definitely going to aim for that 340 in Cap 240 because why not? It's the first weekend of the new threshold. Right, let's lock our Cap 240 team in then, lads. So Andrade in defense, Campolat in goal. We've got Monchu in midfield. We're going with Carlos Martin up front. And as our extra player, we are going with Marco Pasalic. We're going to captain Andrade. We're going to click confirm. And we're going to lock in our threshold target of 340 points or more to hit that $8. Surely we can do it. We've got 9% chance according to Sorare data. Okay, so our 3 teams are locked and loaded for this upcoming game week. I'm buzzing for it. It's the first weekend of the new target threshold. I'm really hoping we can hit that $8. We've got an under 23 limited team and the 270 limited out, lads. Let me know in the comment section what target you're going to be going for. Are you going to be going for the lower, medium, or higher target in Cap 240? I hope you have a great day, lads. I hope you have a great game week, and I shall see you guys in the next episode.